Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cafe Gracia experience. I am your host, Emmanuel Gracia, and I know I'm keeping this short, sweet, and to the point. I know I usually don't do this when it comes to introducing guests and things like that, but you already know how it is when it comes to the channel. You already know that each Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, we got which is the best kind of standard, we have the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And you know how I like to start these things. We always have a wonderful, esteemed guest of the week, and they introduce themselves and all that kind of stuff. So, esteemed guest of the week, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Jackie Gordon, otherwise known as Skorpieo on Twitter and YouTube, and I'm a voice actor.
That's it? Voice acting?
Pretty much. Yep.
Yeah.
Voice acting. Short and sweet.
Yeah. You're actually, I think, my third voice actress, because they're all actresses to be on the podcast, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's amazing. Like, when it comes to voice acting, like, you guys deserve a lot of credit, because like
Thank you.
like, you guys really can't create a character out of simply by using a different tone of voice than you normally have.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I take a lot of I guess I take a lot of pride when it comes to my voice acting. I've actually only been doing this for almost 1 year now.
Really? A year? Well, I guess.
Yeah, only a year. In a few weeks, it'll be a year. On the 27th, that's when my 1 year anniversary of voice acting is.
Wow, I can't believe it. It's been close to a year. Then again,
I
for
know,
me,
right?
like, I've started YouTube since October of last year, so
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, I know I've come a long way since then, but it's fun. It's been a fun time.
Both of us have.
Yeah.
Say you're yelling or screaming, you can't hold back on that, because otherwise the performance is going to feel a little lackluster. And when it comes to changing your voice, you really have to put your mind in the mindset of the character sometimes. Like, you have to think, okay, how would this character sound? Like, what is the background of this character? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all research based. Like, it's the same thing as like with regular acting. Like, you just have to know what character you are getting into, and then,
thoroughly read your script and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, that's also another thing. Like, voice acting is still acting. It's just because you're not doing it like on a camera doesn't necessarily mean it's like.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, a lot of people I've talked to about, when, especially like my real life friends and like coworkers at my job, like when I've talked to them about me being a voice actor, they're like, is that honestly acting? I'm like, well, yes, because you're playing a character. Like, it doesn't matter if it's on screen or not. Like, you're watching something that requires acting. Voice acting is still relevant. It's still a career.
Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of people that really enjoy doing it. Like, there's so many, like,
I love it.
Yeah, like, it's just an incredible thing. Like I said, like, you bring characters to life, and honestly, when it comes to like characters that like anime and things like that, like, you can't just live action that. Like, we've seen how bad
Oh my god.
they could get.
Like,
so yeah,
Oh, I love
exactly. And that's also no, go
Oh, yeah, you
continue.
go ahead.
No, you continue.
No, you go ahead. Okay. Well, for me, it's just I've always wanted to do voice acting. Like, that has always been like a big thing for me.
Yeah, like, it's just awesome, man. It's just awesome. Out of like, because you mentioned like Helvetica dubs and things like that. Like, I've heard about them before, but I didn't even know like that's like a full-fledged like thing. I don't know how to like kind of put it.
You mean like the webtoon ambassador thing that I mentioned?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a new thing. My best friend Logan, she's the creator and the director. She just became a webtoon ambassador, so like they partner with Webtoon to like promote ads and everything. And I love being part of the team. I love being a part of it. The main thing that Helvetica is really known for is our Lore Olympus comic dub. Which is like the most popular webtoon of all time right now. Like, it's the #1 webtoon on that app. We've dubbed the entire first season. That's all completed now, but we do other dubs too. We do other like comic dubs too, not just from Webtoon, but like from independent artists as well.
So, like, an example, if you could give one, if you have like, if there's like no NDA, could you like kind of like give an example of that? 'Cause this is pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I am actually in a few ads, sponsored ads that are out as of now. There are 2 webtoon ads that I'm in that Helvetica has produced. It is, oh my gosh, what is the title? The Advanced Placement Tower. I forget, but I'm in those 2 ads. I'm the narrator for at least one of them, and the reoccurring female character in both of them. And as for like other comic dubs we've done like different fandoms. We've done My Hero Academia. We've done Ruby. In one comic, I was Penny from Ruby. But when it comes to like these kinds of things, it's a really this is how I started voice acting, doing comic dubs. And I think if anybody ever wants to get into voice acting, this is probably like the best route for them to do comics, which first off, always get the permission from the artist first, because you don't want to dub it without their permission. But I think this is a really good way to get into voice acting, because you're trying to, one, be the character, kind of almost, I wouldn't say replicate, but you're trying to become the actor, trying to like channel them. But then once you move on to like other original projects, that's how you learn how to fully use your acting abilities.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And just My Hero, no One Piece, really? Really, you're no One Piece?
You know what? You know what's so funny? So I've watched anime my whole life, ever since I was a kid. My big sister got me into anime when I was a kid, but I can't get into any of the big 3 that much. Like, I can't get into One Piece. I didn't really like Naruto that much. Bleach was okay, but yeah, it's just there's some animes that I don't like, but I appreciate them at the very least.
All right, thanks for ending the podcast really early. All right, anyway, it was nice. This was a really nice short, sweet podcast.
I have a friend who's like really big into One Piece. She just got into One Piece and she got like a tattoo of it. I'm like, dang.
Because One Piece is cool.
She got into it only this year, and I'm like, that is insane. But she loves it. The one anime that I'm really big into, because it was like my whole childhood, is definitely Sailor Moon. I tweet about it so much, but like Sailor Moon is literally my favorite anime. I've met 2 of the voice actors from the Viz dub, the one for Sailor Mars and for Sailor Jupiter, and they're amazing, and I just love this series.
That's cool. For me, like the one anime I mostly grew up, because if on a technicality, you might as well count Pokemon and Digimon.
Yeah,
you know, those
honestly, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
those
that's
are
like
kind
a
of
given.
like the anime. That and Yu-Gi-Oh, like from 4Kids.
Yeah, but
like when you're growing up watching that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, they still count. You know, like I said, like on a technicality.
I don't.
But like
I don't think they don't count. I think they count fully.
Right, exactly. But like my first anime was Full Metal Alchemist, the 2003 version.
God.
And then it was Brotherhood.
Okay, so I never really finished the 2003 version, but I actually just watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood with my best friend. It's funny because we were watching Brotherhood, and then we would take turns, because I showed her Fruits Basket, like the new Fruits Basket, and then she showed me Brotherhood, so we just kind of watched 2 series at the same time. It was really funny.
Yeah, it's the only anime that could legit top Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is, well, aside from Fruit Basket, because I saw like in like the review thing or whatever that they have, like,
yeah, it's
Fruit
the highest
Basket
rated
is the
now.
highest rated one now.
I can't believe that. That is insane to me.
Which is incredible. That I have to see it just to like understand why. Because Full Metal Alchemist
it's really good.
It's peak fiction. That is peak fiction. Full Metal Alchemist.
I know. I love it. Roy Mustang is my favorite character with Risa and Olivier. I love them so much.
It was such an incredible game. Like, not game. It was such an incredible anime that, you know, many people thought that Attack on Titan was the closest thing to doing, you know.
I still need to finish Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with how the manga ended,
yeah,
there's really no point.
I read the manga, so I know how it ends. Like, that's the thing with me in a lot of, like, animes. Like, I'm kind of bad when it comes to, like, keeping up watching animes. Like, I'm still on the 3rd season, technically, of My Hero Academia, but I read the manga. Like, I know what's going on to date.
Yeah.
Same with Jujutsu Kaisen. I need to finish Jujutsu Kaisen, but I read the manga as well. But I don't know, it's just, for me, watching new animes for me is sometimes a hard thing to do unless I'm watching it in a big group of people or with, like, a friend, because sometimes I just can't focus.
No, yeah, that's understandable. Like, no, for me, I can watch something and I can binge watch that to, like, the 10th degree, and it's and that's exactly what I did about Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, it took me an entire month to catch up, just back to back.
I mean, when it first aired on Toonami, I was like a teenager and I loved the first season. I caught up with the first season. I watched it every time it came out. But then when second season hit, I just kind of drifted and stopped watching. But like I read the manga, so like I know what's going on, or knew what was going on.
Yeah, I read like synopsis and things like Attack on Titan, and the ending
just go and read the wiki.
Yeah, I just went to read just read the wiki because there's like certain parts where it's like I'm also just read it so that I have like instead of reading the actual panels, I kind of want to see like how it gets animated in certain parts. Except One Piece, like for me, One Piece, it's like yeah, both manga and anime for sure because I like One Piece is obviously the GOAT piece. Everybody should check it out. You included, like, and but it was just incredible. It's just incredible that Attack on Titan, at least to a degree, like people still love it. Obviously, the ending just couldn't be what it was trying to be, because it was trying to be something like Code Geass. Like we all knew that by the time the time skip arrived, and you know how Eren just ended up being like this fuck boy. You had everybody knew that he's gonna do a Code Geass ending. He's gonna do that, isn't he? Like. So it was obviously expected he was going to die somehow, but the way they did it was just like, really, like that.
I will never forget when the final chapter came out. I was at work and I was walking by one of my best friends who is a really, really big fan, and I was like, "Hey, did you read it?" And he's like, "I don't want to talk about it." And I was just dying.
That was a lot of people. That was a lot of people when they saw like that the ending, and they're like, what the fuck? Like,
he was mostly mad about the second to last chapter, really. But when the final chapter came, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And then he's like, we'll just have to see it again when the anime comes out. I'm like, wow,
that's funny.
He's thoroughly mad.
That's funny. That's mad. Like, but I would understand, because if One Piece ended something like that, I'd be really pissed off, because you gave me 1,000 plus chapters for an ending like this.
I still can't believe it's ongoing.
Because it's the best. It's the best. Period. Like it knows what it's doing. Oda legit, like the author of One Piece, came up with all of that stuff that you're seeing, all those chapters. He literally had that idea as soon as he started the first chapter. It's not something that he, each chapter he makes it up on the spot like most would. No, he had it planned since the very beginning. Like, and he says that time and time again when they do like sort of like interviews and panels and things like that. Where he's like, yeah, everything like just. I planned everything from the beginning, so there's.
He keeps teasing that we're almost to the final arc, but this series is as old as me. I think it began in like '98. I'm turning 23 this year, and I'm like, it's just gonna keep going.
The anime is 20 years old, 22 years old now, because it was in 1999. So yeah, it's older than me as well. And manga, I think it was like you said, like a year before that, like 98.
I think so. I could be wrong,
but
like I know it's at least my age or a little bit older. But it's so crazy that we get to grow up with this and see it unfold. Like we don't have to wait for the chapters to be curious about. Well, not wait. We don't have to go back and reread the ending and everything. Like we're still on our the edge of our seats for these kinds of things, and I think that's really cool.
And that's what I love so much about One Piece compared to any other anime, is that it's an adventure. That's literally the entire premise of the anime. It's just one big adventure with an idiot pirate crew, and they just do some of the most bizarre stuff. It's like your regular shonen, but it's more than that. From day one to right now, you see how everything unfolds. You see the world building, the story arcs of everybody, the characterization. You're literally experiencing a whole new world compared to any other anime where you're just in one setting. You're in just one place. No, in One Piece, for one arc, you're in one area. Another arc, you're in a completely different island. And that's just how it goes. It's just like one island to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's kind of like how, when you visit different countries, you experience a different culture and atmosphere. That's basically how One Piece is. That's basically how it is. And that's why I love it so much. And that's why I love when people now are starting to dive into the series. And I'm like, I can't wait for you guys. You guys are really, really in for the ride of your life.
Do you read the manga or do you just watch the anime? Or do you do both?
I do both. Because there are certain parts in the manga that do a really good job than the anime.
And doesn't
And
the anime have like some filler arcs?
yeah, there are some filler arcs.
Well, you know what? Most anime has filler arcs. Like the original Sailor Moon had
Yeah.
a load of filler arcs.
Yeah, with One Piece, there's only like 4, 5 filler arcs. It's very minimal. With them, it's extremely small, because they make sure to like really take their time and pacing. And the same thing with Oda. Oda doesn't do chapters like once a week. He does some once a week, but sometimes he'll take a break in between during the month, so that the anime can do like 1 to 2 episodes, and then he'll continue doing it. And it's just like things like that. Other times the anime will just wait a little bit until he does like a bunch of material, and then they'll continue on making more. That's usually how it goes. That's why there's like very minimal filler. And when there is filler, it's like 10, 15 episodes.
We've got to give credit to the manga creators for these kinds of things because they work their asses off for this stuff. And
oh, for sure.
They just have so much talent and mad respect. Like my twin sister, she's an artist, and she like whenever she works on her own series that she likes to do, it takes her a long time, and then she'll have to take a break. And I see like how hard she works, and just any of my friends who are artists, like they work so hard, and then when they take a break, they look so exhausted.
Yeah, it's with anything in regards to content creation, really, because like
oh my god, yeah,
anything that you make is that it's just so much work, but it's good work that you hardly consider it as work. And then when you take a break from it, whether it's like a day or two, you're just like, oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you feel
especially when it comes to like video editing too. Like I've worked on a few videos of my own, and oh my god, it has taken me so many hours or like to a day to work on videos, or even though they were like short, but like I get so tired right after.
No, for sure. Like for me, like I've managed to, because the type of videos that I make normally, they're not like where I'll have to like, you know how like there's like a lot of those like video game channels where like they do like the news, you know, like OJ, Player Essence, Games Cage, Fidel.
Yeah.
Well, Fidel does his streams. He focuses mostly on streams, but occasionally when he wants to do YouTube stuff, he talks about like you know, what's going on and things like that. So like, there's like a bunch of YouTube. For me, I like to do that type of stuff, but I also like to kind of express like my theater background to a degree, because I used to do like plays back in high school. So like I know more or less like how to look at the camera, how to not look at the camera, how to like engage with the audience, and how to like I said with voice acting, things like that, like certain inflections and certain tones of voices, things like that. That I basically created this sort of like idea where it's like, all right, the structure of my videos is I'm gonna have a intro and a post-credit skit. So in the beginning of the video, I'm gonna have like some sort of like Drake and Josh style funny moment, laugh track or whatever, you know, like kind of like that thing. And then like the meat of the video is obviously like, oh, we're gonna be talking about this or that, blah blah blah, Pokemon, blah, things like that. And then like at the end, it's just like a continuation of what the intro skit was about. And so I want to do that because a lot of people obviously they talk about news, like for example, like the new Nintendo Switch that just came out. That just
oh my god, yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people already are talking about, you know, oh, this is not the Nintendo Switch Pro, this is Nintendo Switch Pro, things, you know, blah blah blah.
I've been seeing so many memes about it on
all
Twitter.
That kind of stuff, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna let these people. Obviously, the algorithm is wrong with them, so if I make a video on that, it's not gonna work well for me. But I do, I will like mention it or something or blah blah blah, things like that, because like I already have like a system for me, like when it comes to YouTube, and it's a system that I just don't want to break because it works.
Yeah.
But that Switch though, I don't understand why people are mad about it personally.
Literally, I took one look at it and I kind of just looked at it and I'm like, okay, it's silver. Mainly it's because I don't really play that many video games. I have a Switch Lite. I don't really play that much, but when I do, it's fun. But like, I looked at it and I'm like, I literally, because I'm dumb with video games, I literally don't see any difference about it. No, I am. I don't play video games that much. I really don't know that many about video games. I'm with my group of friends. They're telling me more about video games. They're trying to get me into League of Legends, which I am willing to try. The only other game I've been playing is like Genshin Impact, and I haven't played that in a while. But and Hades on my Switch. But other than that, I don't really play that many video games. But it looks nice. I see people making memes about how it's like the the Vita, the PS Vita, is that what it was called or something?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, it looks just like it. It is this, and I'm like, I literally don't see a difference.
Yeah, no, for me, I look at, I'm like, I mean, it's to be expected. Because I was talking to somebody who was also on the podcast, which you should definitely check out, which is Raccoon, which is my dear homie, my dear homeboy. Shout outs to him, by the way. I'm gonna clip this and send it to him. Yeah, he's the best. He's honestly the best. We were talking about the rumors and things about a Nintendo Switch Pro, and I legit told him, I'm like, nah, the way Nintendo works, and a little like history of Nintendo here, they don't do enhanced versions of their systems. You know,
no, they never do.
They never do. So the reason why people wanted a Switch Pro is because they were comparing it way too much to the PlayStation, to the PS4, because PS4 had a PS4 Pro, and so immediately people are like, oh, the Nintendo Switch should have the Nintendo Switch Pro. I'm like, no, they don't. You are not a Nintendo fan if you haven't admitted to yourself that the way Nintendo runs its business is very traditional, and if they do enhance stuff, it's very minimal enhancements. And you're still going to pay for it regardless, because it's a Nintendo and they actually have good games and good stuff and things like that. So they know what they're doing, despite the amount of like backlash that they can technically have on a daily basis. So for me, I was like, yeah, they're not going to do a Nintendo Switch Pro. It guaranteed they're not doing it. And then boom, the Nintendo Switch OLED model came out. And the only criticism I'm giving it is that, why couldn't you just called it the new Nintendo Switch? Just
right, honestly.
Like if you did that with the 3DS, just do the same shit here.
Oh my god.
It's
and like
funny.
There's just so many Nintendo consoles that until the Switch I couldn't keep up with, because I remember like the Wii U, the Wii, that kind of thing, and like there's just so many consoles out there and that's kind of why I don't play a lot of video games, because I don't know what goes to what console. But I still like to play video games, but I'm not like that big. But when it comes to like video game news, I let my friends rant to me about it if they want, because I know how much like that means to them. But in my head, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what they're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, it's just like, I understand you. Sometimes that's with me with anime, where I'm like, yeah, okay, Chainsaw Man, boobies, got it, all right.
I still need to read Chainsaw Man. Two of my best friends have told me that I need to read it, and it looks really good.
I am waiting for the anime because...
Yeah, the PV just dropped.
Yeah, exactly. I am waiting for the anime, honestly, because it's... The graphic imagery of that is interesting from certain panels. Like, I don't know if you saw the one where it's like the astronauts.
I haven't.
Where there's like this huge panel with like a bunch of astronauts, and they look like they're either buried on the ground or they got sliced in half and they're just like praying to something. Yeah, I don't know what like. There's just so many interesting panels of Chainsaw Man that I'm looking at it. I'm like, is this a fucking fever dream?
That's the thing.
What is
like,
happening?
My friend, they told me like it's so graphic, but it's so fun and interesting, and I'm like, you know what? That I'll read it. I gotta read it. I want to read it. I want to read it online first, and if I like it enough, I want to start collecting the manga. But that shit is sold out everywhere. Like especially like Chainsaw Man, Horimiya, Jujutsu Kaisen. I've been trying to get the manga, but it's like sold out everywhere.
Yeah, no, yeah. With those, because they're currently like the big like, three for now.
Oh, they're for sure.
They are definitely being sold out in a consistent basis, and they are definitely. And
I what was it? I bought the first 6 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen, and volume 1 is the only one that shipped so far. So I'm waiting, and I can't even find volume 0, the prequel, anywhere. So hopefully soon it'll come back. But like, oh my god, because I love collecting manga, but it is so hard now these days.
I would love to collect manga, but when I have like my own place and have like my own shelf, and then that way I could like start doing stuff like that. Because for now I'm just like, I have like the basic Latino lifestyle where you have like 7 members living in the same roof, and I'm just
dude,
like,
I'm
need to
half
leave.
Filipino. I feel you. I'm half Filipino. I still live with my parents right now. I have such a big family. Like I'm the youngest of 7 siblings, and then I've got like a younger stepbrother, and then I've got a bunch of nieces and nephews, and it's just crazy. But I love them. But oh my god,
7 siblings? Hold
yeah,
up, 7.
my
No
yeah.
way.
Well, I'm the 7th one.
Oh, you're the youngest. So wow.
Yeah,
But
and
wait.
I'm a twin, and I have older twin sisters. My father had 2 sets of twin girls. It's really funny, but like, it's crazy. It's a really crazy family, but I love them.
Wow. I'm the oldest of just 3, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
And we just like my uncle, and then my mom, dad, and my
Nah,
grandmother.
I've
And
got
2 dogs.
I've got 4 sisters. Oh, I have 2 dogs too. I have a mix, and then I have like a French bulldog who was really loud. You probably heard him barking earlier.
Yeah, I
barking,
probably yeah.
Yeah, I like heard him, and I told my brother to go get him. But yeah, I've got like a bunch of siblings. I've got like 3 brothers. One of them's a stepbrother. I've got 4 sisters, and I'm the younger twin too, so that makes it even more fun.
Yeah, twins are awesome. Like it's such a unique. But are you like identical or fraternal?
No, we're identical.
Damn.
It's funny because so she and I, we work together in Helvetica. We work together in real life. We're like always together. It's so funny because we like mirror each other really well. Because she's an artist, I'm an actress. She's really more reserved. I'm all over the place. I'm hyper. She does things different than I do, and it's just so funny because we're literally mirror image twins. So it's fun. She's really fun.
That's literally like.
And she she appreciates my voice acting like a lot, and it was so funny because I was on a phone call with some friends on Discord one day. She came into my room and was talking to me, and they're like, "Jackie, are you talking to yourself?" I'm like, "No, that's my sister." They're like, "Whoa," because apparently our voices sound very similar. So if I ever need an understudy, I'll just grab her.
Nah, just, if you ever need to fill a role for something, like you want to do like 2 roles, you're just like, all right, you do this, I do this, let's go. Like
it's
you
funny.
Just like hop into the car.
It's funny because I literally gave her my old microphone because I used to use a USB mic for my voice acting, and now I use an XLR mic. So I gave her my USB one. But apparently, we just still sound so similar. So if we ever want to do stuff together, she's got the microphone and she's right there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. that is like, I'm trying to like picture like God was like, yeah, that's basically it. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like, that's like, yeah, why not?
Literally.
But wow.
It's so interesting because we both like the same anime. We both watch like the same series, and we both like. We just feed off of each other's like energy sometimes, and it's just fun because we can talk about the same things. She shows off her art to me, I show off my acting and editing, and it's just happy. It's just a good balance, I'd say.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to have like someone in the family that kind of helps and does that like complement, like that complementation.
Oh yeah,
it's just
incredible. A lot of 2 of my older sisters out of the 4, not 2, 3, including my twin, and I have 2 older sisters. I've shown them like my demo reel that I have on Twitter, and when I showed it to them, they were freaking out. One older sister was like jumping up and down, and she texted it to. It's actually funny. She texted it to our sister, who is her twin, because that's the older set of twins. But right. When my demo reel first came out, I was on the phone with my friend, and I had to mute for a second because my big sister called me, and she's like really tired because she works a lot. But she said to me, "I know I don't sound like it, but I'm freaking out right now." she's like, "I didn't know you could do that." And I just started laughing, and it made me feel like really happy because she's always been so supportive. She's always asking me what I'm doing, like what classes I'm taking, what other roles I've been doing, and it's just really good.
Yeah, it's like that. The same feeling happened with me with like YouTube as well when I started out. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." And then like when everything slowly like just started adapting, like a new camera, a new microphone setup,
right?
Just everything else, the level of degeneracy that tends to happen and whatever, things like that, people just like started appreciating and enjoying it. Like I have like in my channel, like I said, like all like the intros and post credits, I have my own characters that have like their own set of like backgrounds and things like that. So there's like one that's like for Capcom, that's one for like Nintendo, there's another one that's like for another video games. I have a Sonic suit that I wear when I do Sonic videos. Like
Oh, wow.
I'm like also committed to like making sure like, oh, people are gonna talk about the same shit. Nah, man, if you want Sonic stuff, I got you. I have a suit. I will wear this suit, and it's like just like it's just fun to the whole thing is just it's always nice to have a creative mentality, because when it comes to like business and things like that, like all the grown-up stuff, quote unquote,
Right.
even though we're technically adults already, so I mean, yeah.
Why are we adults?
I don't know, I feel
It
like
feels
that.
like yesterday when
I just learned about
it feels like
credit.
yesterday I was just in high school. Oh god, dude, same. Like
Yeah, it's
like
that
I'm
feeling.
still learning about like how to do bills and stuff, and I'm like, damn, can I just go back to
Yeah.
the simpler days, please?
Yeah, no, I kind of don't mind it now, because it's like a little bit more of independence, a little bit more, and like a
Yeah,
year.
oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you've got like, strict Filipino, Latino families.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, when it comes to Latino, Filipino style families, it's not that they're strict, it's that they have a very well-rounded idea as to how the world fucking works. Like, they have a unique perspective that to us, since we're like technically born here or whatever it is, like we try to break away from like the way they handle stuff. But the more you get older, the more you realize, I'm like them. Like I'm
Honestly.
like, it's like they know what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, I feel that too, because especially with my mom is born and raised from the Philippines. She is she's been here in the States for like 30 plus years now. But like with her raising me and seeing how she views the world, when I got older, I was like, damn, I kind of see where she's coming from, but at the same time, damn, she is insane. Because my mother is an insane woman, but not to be
exactly.
not to be reckoned with.
And then another thing also is that they have tremendous work ethic that
They do.
is
Oh my God.
unrivaled compared to any other culture.
Seriously, like I've got some family and friends who, when it comes to some things, they're a little bit more spoiled than me, I would say. But with the way my mom raised me and everything, she's like, you have to work hard for what you want because no one's gonna give it to you. And that's exactly how I feel when it comes to either my job in real life or here in voice acting, because I want to work hard so I can achieve what I want and get what I want, because nothing comes easy, nothing comes free, and I want this so badly that I need to learn more. I need to work harder. Like, especially when it comes to my voice acting, like, I want to do more. And I know it's only been 1 year, but I definitely plan on doing, like, more things. I just want to grow as an actor, like, because I don't ever want to stop doing this. Because this is where I feel like I'm meant to be. Like, this is my favorite place in the whole world, my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same thing for me here. Although for me, I've always had like an entrepreneurial mindset, because like right now I'm in college. I plan to be a lawyer. I'm studying history. Then like lawyer after, like I want to be a lawyer. I also want to be like a history professor, because we could really use some actual history professors, personally speaking. And
I actually know a few voice actors who are studying to become lawyers and historians too, which is really funny.
yeah, exactly. And I also like to do YouTube and stuff like that. Like for me, it's like I just want to do something that I know will build up into something greater, something bigger. And like stuff like YouTube, stuff like being a lawyer or studying to be a historian, like yeah, obviously for many people it's like a set track. Like you go to college, you apply for the college DLC in the Game of Life, then you do that, you do this,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. But for me, it's like in the meantime, while I'm studying, while I'm obviously building for what I want to do when I'm like 25, 26, like from that point on forward, why not for like a little bit try out stuff that could also help out in the long run, like YouTube. And it's just a fun thing as well, because you could be a successful person working in something that you don't enjoy doing, and that's a very bad thing. And that's also a thing that our parents taught us as well, where it's like, if you want to do something, you got to commit to doing it, but it also has to be something that you know that you will not regret doing.
Yeah, and I think because with my mom, she sometimes still doesn't necessarily understand why I like to do voice acting or that kind of thing. But like her main thing for whenever we talk about it is whenever I do talk about it with her, she's like, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And I'm like, "Yes, because this has literally always been a dream of mine since I was a kid. Like I was always a theatrical kid. I wanted nothing more than to do acting, get into theater, all that jazz. But like when you want those things as a kid, people think, oh, that's cute, that's fun. But then when you are still into those things when you get a little bit older, they're like, why not move to this path instead? Because on my channel, I have a video about how I became a voice actor, and before I did voice acting, a lot of my friends and family, they're like, maybe you should do more something like professional, like the medical field or something. Because originally, when I was in high school, before I went to college, I dropped out, but like, they were like, you should be like a psychologist or something, because psychology was a really fun subject for me and good. They're like, that'll get you good money. But like, whenever I was in those types of classes, I never felt right. I didn't feel happy necessarily doing it until I got out of school, and then I discovered voice acting, and I was like, yeah, this makes more sense.
Yeah, like for me it's a little different because I've since I knew from day one that I did wanted to go to college. Like for me, I want to be a lawyer. I want to, and I think the idea, I think the reason why I want to do a shit ton of stuff, like restaurants, because I love cooking. I forgot to mention that. I love cooking. I've been cooking for like almost 6 years now.
Oh wow, I can't cook at all.
Oh, you gotta learn.
I know.
Girl, you gotta learn.
I will say the one thing that I finally learned how to cook was lumpia, which if anybody doesn't know what lumpia is, it is a Filipino dish. It's basically like a Filipino egg roll. So good. It takes forever to make, but worth it.
Oh yeah. For me, cooking is a little different because it has to be kosher stuff. Because I'm also Jewish and things like that. So
yeah, I remember you tweeted about that.
Yeah. I try when it comes to like Judaism and things like that. Like sometimes I like to remind people that, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Jewish. But it's, to me, it's so ingrained in my philosophy and my way of life that it's more of like, why say that I'm Jewish if I could just show them that I am? And in a way, I do that.
That's something that's every day to you. Like that's not like a new thing or anything.
Exactly.
Like you know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, I know how. Like I just know who I am as a person, and like every day I'm always happy that like my faith, my religion, my culture, because it's all three combined when it comes to like Jewish history and Jewish culture.
Yeah.
Like that's why you'll never see me talk shit about anybody until like it's unless it's actual criticism. You'll never see me disrespect anybody unless they disrespect me, because that's also another thing. Like, if you want my respect, you gotta earn it. Like, that's the type of person that I am as well. I'm not like the type of person that will pander to anybody and be like, oh, yes, you have my support. You have this. Don't you worry, little one. No. You want my respect, you gotta fucking earn it. Like, that's just how I am. It's like, I will treat you the way you want to be treated. And that's like one of the many things that my parents taught me, and they live by that as well.
That's just how it should be for anybody. Like, nobody should ever disrespect you, like, at all. You shouldn't take that disrespect. And once someone, like, for me personally, once someone loses my respect, they can't get it back because, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, I can't necessarily, especially if they've wronged me, sometimes it takes me a while to forgive. But respect, that's a whole other story, though.
Yeah, forgiveness and losing respect are two completely different things.
Oh my god.
And people tend to put the two into this same box, and it's not. It really isn't.
Exactly. Like, you can forgive someone, but you can never respect them again sometimes. And I feel like that's a big thing with people.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like, I can forgive you, like, no problem. Like, and you'll still have my respect. But it was something that you did, and in a way, like, I felt betrayed by it. No. Like, You got. I'm
You know
sorry.
how people are like, forgive and forget. No, I have never been forgive and forget ever. I'm forgive, but I don't forget.
No, for me, it's more of like, yeah, like forgive and forget, but also for me, it's like forgive and understand, because if you forgive someone, and obviously like the idea of forgiveness has to be something that completely has to be genuine and very rare, because if you forgive someone way too much, then
they'll just keep doing it.
Exactly.
They'll keep doing the thing that they're doing.
Exactly. But if you stop them in their tracks and you also like give the time and tell them, listen, what you're doing is wrong, stop doing it, and they still do it, well then you already did what you have to do. Like from that point,
like you've already established like you don't like what they're doing, you've asked them to stop, but if they don't respect that, like who are you to give them the same respect, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's at that point it's just noise. To you it's noise. But because we live in a place where it's like cancel culture,
oh my gosh,
it's like, oh, someone wronged me, let's cancel them. And I understand that there are plenty of people that do deserve they deserve a level of cancellation. Meaning you just have to tell them that what you did was wrong. Please change it for next time. You don't have to go on a twit longer and say this person did this and that, and suddenly
I literally forgot twit longer
and suddenly be like this big brain lawyer, while in reality you could have just resolved everything peacefully between each other and nobody would have known.
Oh my god.
That's
I forgot twit longer was a thing. I forgot that's what people do. Mainly because I don't like to be involved in any sort of drama. Like, cause I have been through so much negativity and negative stuff in my life that I don't want to be in any drama. I just want to live my life in the most positive way if I can. But like, I'll listen if people need to vent, but if they ask me to get involved, no. That's when I pull my cards off the table.
Yeah, no, like the same thing with me, where if I see anything in terms of like cancel, like somebody's getting canceled or blah blah blah, things like that, or like a twit longer, I read it, I read it, and then I'm just like,
I walk away.
And for me, it's different. I'm more of like, all right, guys, listen to both sides, come to your own conclusion, and then fuck off. Because after that, that is a really good
mindset. Honestly, and it should have always been between those two people. Like that, the thing with people on the internet is they want other people to see, so that way they have other people on their side. And I understand that. Yeah. I understand people want others to listen, but at the end of the day, if you have a problem with someone, that's something that you need to address with the person you have a problem with. Like anytime I see drama like on Twitter or like on like Instagram between friends or something, I see both sides, I try, but I never get involved because I can't be a part of that personally.
Neither can I, and I've always stated numerous times, if you have a problem with me, just tell me. Honestly.
Me too. That's how I am too.
Like I'm a human being. I have flaws and stuff too. If you think that I'm doing something wrong, just tell me, and I'll either be like, well, you're an idiot for thinking that, but thank you for at least, acknowledging that, that may be something that seems kind of like quote unquote offensive to you, because there are things that can be completely offensive, but people cheapened the word being triggered, being offensive. Like they've cheapened that word so many times that literally I can pick up a cup of water and people somehow are triggered, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Like it's come to that point where everything is you're suddenly being sensitive about everything, and it's like no, you gotta learn that, first of all, the world doesn't give a fuck about you. That's one thing you gotta understand. Nobody in the entire world will give a crap about you, no matter who you are, your sexual preferences, your gender identity. Nobody gives a fuck about that at the end of the day. You know what they do give a fuck about? Are you a good person? Do you do good? Are you contributing to society? Those are the things that a lot of people genuinely ask nowadays, but so all of a sudden, because we live in such a hypersensitive world, that we can ask a question that seems genuine and understanding, and people are like, he's being discriminatory against me. I'm like, no, dumbass. I'm legit asking you a question that I would ask anybody in the entire world, regardless of who they are.
Like, honestly, at the end of the day, what matters most is as long as you treat people nice and well, and as long as they also think you're a good person, and as long as you don't start shit, that's all that matters. And at the end of the day, the only other thing that matters is you, how you feel, who you are as a person. That's the thing.
Exactly. It's like I've said, like, don't pander to anybody. The only person you should be pandering to is yourself. The only person that you should be taking care of is yourself. You are the topmost priority above everybody else. You know?
And like, for me, I'm the type of person who likes to make people happy. I want my friends to be happy more than anything and in the world, but sometimes there are some days where I'm like, okay, there's some things that I need to handle for myself, and I need to kind of take a step back and make sure I'm okay.
Exactly, and then people come brush it off. It's like, oh, you're just being selfish, you bitch. And I'm like, whoa.
I know,
Hold up.
Sometimes I've had some bad days where I'm just, because I'm very talkative, especially at work, or like I'm very like energetic, and there have been like some days where like at work, like I'll be having like a bad day and I'm really quiet, and a lot of the time, a lot of my friends will be like, hey, are you okay? That kind of thing. I've had some people that are like, oh, why are you frowning? Smile. I'm like, can I not just have a bad day?
Like, can I just like reflect for a second and then maybe smile later, you know?
Can I just be in my feelings for just a little bit if I am allowed?
Yeah, exactly. And the people that, you know why there's a lot of self-hate nowadays? Now that I think about it, it's obviously because we're so way too deep into the abyss that is social media and internet. So like I said, that ties into the idea that we're constantly hyperactive, and any tiny little thing that happens in social media or in general, we immediately be like, what the fuck is this? Like, whoa, like,
yeah.
So all these social media,
you can see something trending on social media and you see so many people freaking out about it, and then you're just like you'll be the kind of person, or you'll be in that situation where like, I never heard about this and I don't understand why everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, exactly. And then sometimes when they freak out, they're taking it completely out of proportion as to what it actually was. And I've dealt with that so many times that it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. Forget it. I'm just not gonna bother. You know. But that's like political stuff. I don't want to talk about political stuff.
Oh God,
honestly.
no.
Like that's like it's
neither
already.
Do I.
It's already as divisive as it can be, and honestly, like when it comes to like politics, it's like very private with me. It's something very private.
I know a lot of people who are very up in arms about that, but for me, I don't let that affect my life. I don't let that affect my relationships with people, my friendships, because that's not who I am. That's not what I am about as a person. Like, I understand that some people want to talk about it. I'll listen. I know my views and everything, but I never want to talk about that stuff, ever.
Yeah, no. For me, it's like, it's very private. It's one-to-one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It is extremely one-to-one, and only those that are really, really close to me know my standing and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like if I know someone well enough, I'll talk about it with them. And if we have different views, I'll still listen. But, like, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about politics that much, because I just want to live my life, like, happily, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Politics is just so negative these days that I'm like, you know what? I'll just do my own thing. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just... yeah, exactly. That's the same thing with me. That's the same thing with me. But what was I saying before all that? I know, like, at a certain point, I'm just like, I gotta rewind. Hold up. Give me a second. What was I saying?
I know, like, when you get on a tangent about something, you just keep going. And then when you try to come back from that tangent, you're like, what were we talking about?
Yeah, what was I saying? Like... okay, and going back to like the why people there's a lot of self-hate, and it's also because we put too much expectations on ourselves.
We do, and I feel like a lot of the times we're our own worst enemy, because like in my case, a lot of the time I have, sometimes a little too often, imposter syndrome, where in my own head sometimes I get really deep in there, and I always feel like sometimes, oh, you should have started doing this sooner. You should have started voice acting sooner. You should know these things by now, that you're falling behind. You're not anywhere near your friends' levels. But like, I always have to fight myself because I'm not my friends. I started only a year ago. I have to take my time. It's my own pacing, and it's just always a constant like back and forth to my own self, because I'm like, you should have done this sooner. It's okay to take time, that kind of thing.
Yeah, same. Like there have been moments where I'm like, fuck, why didn't I start YouTube when I was like in high school? I would have already reached 1K where we started making money. But then there's also other times where I'm like, I'm doing this because I want to do it. Money is secondary
Yeah.
to me. Like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll end up reaching 1,000 subscribers or maybe even more, and yeah, I'll obviously reach that. But I'm doing it because I like doing it, and because I want people to just have a smile, no matter even if it's one person watching it. If that person's having a giggle or a laughter or being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like that makes me happy because like there's someone out there.
And that is exactly my case too. Like, I've had some family, they'll be like, why are you doing this if it's not paying you? You know, sometimes when you start these things, they're not always going to give you money. Like, that's not how it works. And I always have to fight with them because I'm like, this is what makes me happy. Money doesn't always mean happiness. They should all know that, but I feel like I can finally be myself. I'm in my element, and yeah, maybe I started a little later in life than some people, but I'm catching up. I'm doing what I want to do. Like, I
Exactly.
never want to stop. And it makes me happy, and it makes others happy, because I've had so many people tell me that they love my demo reel, they love my acting, which flatters me because I have never received compliments like that before.
Oh,
Because
same with me.
seriously,
Like,
because like my self-confidence sometimes hits like a really like big low, but I've had so many people tell me, your demo reel's so good, your acting is so good, you can do like really good characters, and I'm like, really?
yeah, for me, I've had so many comments on my videos where I'm like, how are you not like 100,000 subscriber dude already? Like your videos are like so high quality. I'm just like,
Exactly.
yo, that's awesome, and like it just keeps me going, and it's just like, I'm just gonna keep working
I
harder and harder.
know. That's literally how it is with me too, because like as of right now, I'm 5 away from 600 on Twitter. Like, I'm at 595, and I was on the phone with my best friend about this one day, and she's also a voice actor too. It's my friend Logan, who I mentioned before.
Yeah.
But she was like talking to me. She's like, you know, it's so crazy to me that you don't have more followers than you do, because you work so hard. I've seen you grow, and you deserve so much more, because she's the one who got me into voice acting. She helped direct my demo reel. We worked together, and she's like, you deserve so much more because you have grown so much within just 1 year. You work hard as anybody else does, and she's like, I just want the best for you. And I almost cried.
Aw, that's awesome.
I know.
That's
I
awesome.
I have a really good group of friends who are so supportive to me and for me, and this community, being in the VA community especially, has brought me more happiness than I've ever felt in my whole life. It has given me some of the greatest friends I've ever known. I talk to them every day. It makes me happy to just go on Discord, get into servers, get in group chat calls, and just being able to interact with people on Twitter too. It's a good community. Like, I am very very happy to know the people I know in the community. I love it, and I love being a part of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's same here. Like, it's always nice to look back and see like how far you've come. And it could be about anything really. It could be about how you are as a person, or it could be like all that kind of stuff. And it's just an incredible feeling to be like, damn, I made
I
it this
know.
far. I'm gonna keep going, because it literally makes you keep on going, and it's just incredible.
It really does. I look back on myself from maybe like a year or a few months before I started voice acting, and if I could tell myself how happy I am, like today, and how loved I feel, and how much love I have for the people that I've met, I don't think I would believe myself, because it's such an overwhelming positive like energy.
It really really is. And the another thing also is that to kind of end on like the whole thing about like self-hating and then like the lack of self-confidence, things like that, there's this quote that my dad always says, and I love this quote because this is like an original quote from him. Well, it won't be word for word, but I'll ask him later.
Paraphrase.
It's more of a paraphrase, but it's like, how can you hate yourself if the person that you hang out the most is yourself?
Oh my god, that's honestly so true though.
Exactly. The one person that you hang out with the most is you. So why should you hate yourself?
That is honestly a really good way of putting it.
You know, you hang out with yourself. You reflect on who you are as a person. You always like, and my dad always says like, you won't know what goes on in my head or what I do every day, because you're not me. Only I know what goes on in there.
And you know who you are best. Like, you know who you are. You know your personality. You know what your morals and your values are. Like,
exactly.
At the end of the day, it is always you.
Right. Exactly. Like, that's
a really good way of putting it, honestly.
Yeah,
like that quote, that is incredibly like mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, my dad's awesome when it comes to stuff. He really knows, because like I said, like going back with the idea of like Latino parents and like Filipino parents, like they know, they really know how the world works. You know, he learned and struggled a lot to get where he is now. And like, even to this day, and he always says like, I don't fucking care if you have grandchildren and things like that. I'm still gonna bully your ass off. I'm still gonna teach you like, I'm still gonna teach you how the world really works. And you know, as much as I'm like, in the beginning I was like, dad, what the come on, like leave me alone. Like, you have like the angsty teenager phase, like blah blah blah, where you think like you're smarter than your parents.
Oh my god, for sure.
Literally me now, I'm like, you make a good point, Dad. You really, really do. And I think about it, and then I'm like, well, as much as my dad has these good intentions, and clearly what he says is true, because he's lived here longer than I will ever, than I've been.
Oh yeah.
So he clearly has seen like the evolution of the world through his perspective. So for me, it's more of like, how can I apply what my dad taught me for the generation that I'm living in? And ever since I started doing that, and this was literally, I started doing that about almost a year and a half ago. So as soon as I graduated high school, I realized, wow, I'm in the like, I gotta step up. I gotta learn, like, I'm not a kid anymore. So I really started paying attention to him, and it's more of, and like, there's just a strong respect I have for him. Obviously there's certain things that you can disagree, like, because that's with all parents. But at the end of the day, it's more of like, how can I hate my dad if he knows what he's doing?
And like, in my case, my parents have always showed me how they view the world and everything. But because I have so many siblings who are older than me, they've also helped kind of pave the way and taught me and raised me how to live in this world. Like, especially one of my big sisters, like, she has always been like the pinnacle of knowledge to me. Whenever I don't know something, I'll always go ask her about things. And her, my big brothers, my other sisters, like, they've given me so much advice and so much help that, one, I can't thank them enough for, but also two, it's just, I'm so thankful to have so many opinions about things, because I have my mother's opinion, I have my dad's opinion, I've got my sister, brothers, I've got so many opinions that I can listen to all of them and then make my own judgment, you know?
Yeah, same here.
Sometimes it's too many opinions.
Yeah, like, if you could filter in and just find the ones that are best suited to you, then that's fine. That's
sure.
That's just how it is.
Like, you always have to think about, like, your own opinions. Like, you always got to make your own best judgment anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, like we've said, it's all you. Anyway, I think it's almost time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I know.
This went so fast.
It really does. That's the beauty. I said this many times, and that's the beauty but that's the beauty of how I structure these things. Because I structure this with no structure in mind. So it's like let's just talk and see what this train of thought goes.
Well, I loved it. I had a lot of fun. This is like the first podcast I've ever been interviewed for. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I wouldn't say interview is the right word because it's more of like a conversation between.
Yeah, it's more like, yeah, you're right. It's more like just like hanging out or something. But I had a lot of fun, and like I'm really honored you thought of me.
Yeah, I'm always down. You're always down to come back. I've had many people return and things like that.
I'd love to.
Yeah, it's I had a wonderful time. It was really like I learned a lot, and then at the same time I also didn't learn a lot, but that's just how it is.
Honestly, same. Honestly, same. I just had mostly fun.
Yeah, same here. So, do you have like any final words, any final like ending remarks before I end mine and blah 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 things like that?
Well, if anything to take away from this, what I want to just say is if you really want to do something for yourself and you know it makes you happy and you know that that's what you want to do, don't stop doing it. Like, get started. Keep doing it. Keep learning. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm still learning how to do my things, and I think that's what most people just need to learn is if you're passionate about something, stay passionate and don't stop because you know what you want. You know who you are, and basically just follow what your heart and brain thinks, basically.
Yeah. For me,
yep.
I gotta end it with the usual, but before we do, if you made it this far or you dozed off and you suddenly woke up to this section of the podcast, go follow this amazing person. If you're watching this, clearly the Twitter handle will be right in front of you, or it'll be in the link in the description down below. An incredible person. Definitely check her out, and if you do commissions, and I also commission her for voice acting, things like that.
Yes, my voice commissions are still open, and if anybody ever needs a voice for a project, my email's always open, Twitter DMs, or y'all can find my Discord. It's attached to my Twitter profile.
Yeah, that'll all be in the description below as well. Yep. And I like to end these things, ladies and gentlemen. Keep being awesome. Keep spreading love and kindness to the world. It's very important to do that, so always do that. Make sure to at least do it once, because it will really make a person's day. It will really make a person's day. Keep improving yourselves. Keep spreading love and kindness, like I said already. And know that I love you guys forever and always to 120. And I hope to see you all in the next fantastic, marvelous, amazing, magnificent, and sexy video. See you guys.
Bye-bye.